Hey, hi. Welcome back. All right. Let's talk about how distracting it is to have a pool table in front of me and a beautiful new studio behind me. Thank you, Jolie. Thank you, Irene, for helping. And Jolie doing 95% of it. Irene helping in the design, some color stuff, some plants. It's awesome. So, okay, all right, studio's sick. Big things coming. It's great. And what else? So let's get to it. Sorry. Let's get to it. So what are we talking about? We're going to talk about demons, okay? So I have this thing I came up with called the demon drill, right? And you put the ball here and you put the ball here. And the reason why I call it the demon drill is because you're going to hit a stop shot and it's going to have to stick right there, so when we place it, it's right stuck on it. And you don't want it over here, you don't want it over there, you don't want it back, you don't want it forward, you don't want to hit it and have it stop like that, because then you hit it with side spin. So it's basically, it's this tiny little shot, and it helps you to really dial in your demons. Meaning if your demon is side hit, it's going to be apparent. If your demon is missing the center of the ball, it's going to be apparent. If it's striking the cue ball inaccurately and it always comes back or always moves forward, it's going to be apparent, or some sort of mixture of all of them, right? So it just basically, it's a very quiet deal to do. You put a dot and a dot, so in the exact same spot, and then you just hit it, and you want it to be stuck so that when you place it, it's right on there, okay? So that's a way to like exercise your demons with pool and work on your biomechanics and quietly work on the physics and the geometry and figuring out what's happening with the shot, because it's gonna show you stroke flaws, it's gonna show you some aim things. So that's like the demon drill that I did, right? So you're sort of trying to exercise your demons, so you quietly, it's kind of a meditative thing, honestly, and it's just dealing with, there's just a lot that can get solved. If you jump up, you're gonna be able to feel it and see it because you're quiet and you're hitting a simple shot. If you react instead of respond and you're you're gonna tell, right? You're gonna tell that you're reacting. If you're honest with yourself, you'll be able to give yourself some coaching, right? And be able to fix these things. So this is the simplest way to kind of teach and coach yourself. And then once you are able to do that, then you can start moving it farther away. Or you could start doing it where you're hitting a shot to a spot or an angle. I mean, you could just mark it and hit it, and you could demon drill your way through the rest of your days. Okay, so now what about demons that aren't part of pool, right? The demons that might keep us from reaching our full potential as pool players, right? So I was thinking about that. I was talking to Irene about this and talking to Jolie about it, of course. And basically I just realized, you know, there's things that keep us from our full potential with pool. You know, I just had a podcast on doubt. Doubt can keep us. I talk a lot about ego. Ego can keep us from our full potential. Fear can keep us from our full potential, right? Yeah, so let's just talk about ego, doubt, and fear a little more, I guess. If something pops into my head, I'll share that too. But like, I could tell you, for me, you know, ego was a big reason why I played pool. And that's it. Like, I told Irene this, and I've told you guys before, but like, I was so broken when I picked up a pool cue that it was the only way that I could see a path forward to have some belief or confidence or whatever. Because I picked up a cue, I was pretty gifted, and then people would tell me, hey, you're really good at that, and adults and stuff. And so I had really bad adult people in my life. I had bad peers. I had nothing. I mean, I was kind of feral and on my own, and it was not good. And so when I got out to be 13 and I got around these adults that I sort of connected with better, because I couldn't really connect with kids because I just was a different sort of mindset as a 13-year-old, kind of like my son Ami, similar situation. But so I connected with adults, and then when I saw that adults were telling me, you're really good at this, and they were giving me attention and compliments for it, well then I'm like, well, chips in on pool, I guess. Doesn't matter if I like it or not. I did like it, but did I like it enough to to put as much into it as I did. Probably not, honestly. And I knew that I grew to learn that as I got older, because as I got older, I quit by the time I was 17, and then I got into golf and lifting weights and school and all these other things, and I didn't miss it at all. I never even thought about it. I just wasn't part of my thing, right? And but the reason why I got into it, because I had low self-esteem, right? Had ego problems, I guess you'd say, because of that, right? So that I constantly need to be feeding my ego with success to kind of validate my existence in the world. And then like my anger came from ego, right? Like, how dare they do this, or how dare this person do that, or like, I didn't win, and so now I'm not going to get what I need, and I'm better than this, and and then it just got worse and worse and worse, and it was just decades of struggling with that, right? And just being a man and living in the society we live in, and just struggling through all these problems with ego, right? And basically just having to burn it off, just burn it off and burn it off and burn it off. And it took me forever. And I tried everything, right? I tried running miles and miles and miles. And that did help when I got into Goggins, but it wasn't it wasn't so much about the miles I was running. It was more the mindset stuff that he was talking about. He was talking about acceptance. Essentially, it was a big acceptance thing, right? And hard work, you do the hard work, you have acceptance, you just kind of take it, deal with it, do it, and then you can find some meaning and purpose and like esteem, I guess you'd say, right? Now, all this stuff that I'm saying that I did or whatever, people could have different views or different experiences or different realities of these things. I'm just sharing you with my experience, right? Because I'll talk to my wife, who's a Christian, and she'll say, all these answers come through Jesus, and I would say, well, I've been around Christianity for, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of hours, read books, been to church, listened to podcasts, everything, been married to a Christian woman for many, many years. And I would say, for me, that wasn't it. There's Jesus is my homeboy. It's just, there's some like things within Christianity that just didn't click with me. So anyways, but that's her perspective, right? But then she also has the clinical perspective, and we connect on that, and we connect spiritually on things, and I talk with her all the time about Christianity and Jesus and biblical principles, so everything's great. Nothing's wrong with mommy and daddy, don't worry about it. We love each other. We've been together for 26 years, and we're gonna be together forever. Mate for life, like loons or ducks, whatever. But yeah, it's awesome. But I guess what I'm saying is, whatever perspective you come from, you could have a different idea of how this stuff works together and how to deal with your demons, right? But for me, that demon was killing my life, right? And then as I got back into pool and quit, and then came back to pool about 6 years ago, I realized that pool's actually, once I burned off some of those demons, right? Then I was realizing, you know what? I miss playing pool. I kind of like it. And I like the balls rolling around, and I like the physics and the geometry. I like learning. I like the puzzle element of it. I'm a pattern guy. I like just sort of studying patterns and things. And I just determined that I really like pool. And so I came back to it, and here we are. But one of the things I realized is, once I was able to sort of burn off some of my initial demons, then when I got into pool, the reason why I really fell back in love with it is that I realized, if I'm not careful, those demons can come back, and I can get glimpses of them once in a while. And because I spent so much time burning them off, now I have the tools to be able to fight them, right? Fight them off, and to either through acceptance or through other practices, right? And so one of my demons was ego, and now I'm able to come back to the game and embrace that it is an ego game for a lot of people, and it was for me, like I said, junkie for 35 years, but now it was safe enough, and it was a fun challenge for me to come back to it, and now I've been through so many situations, especially when I was like a brand ambassador, where I really was challenged to with ego situations, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I don't still have problems, but what I'm saying is I moved to be more effective, right? And I was put into really difficult situations, and I was able to not react from an ego standpoint. I was able to find acceptance and be able to use the practices and principles that I'm teaching you guys to be able to be less ragey and ego driven, okay? So there you go. Now, and it's still a process and still a practice, and that's why I love playing this game and even competing and things, because it's just, or turning on the camera and playing, it's just always such a great challenge to try to fight ego thoughts, reactions, and behaviors, right? And for me personally, so that's why I love it, right? Playing and teaching and creating content and doing all this stuff and competing a little bit. It's cool. Playing leagues even, or maybe going to Derby. Not maybe, I'm going to Derby this year, but yeah, so that's ego. Now, what else is like, where else have I struggled with demons? I guess fear, fear that, and it would make sense that I had fear because I wasn't equipped to handle loss, right? So if you're not equipped to handle loss, then you can be very fearful of loss, okay? And I was fearful of loss because at times, right? At times, I would say this wasn't a big demon for me. I'm just saying it was a demon at times once in a while. But most of the time, if I'm honest, whenever that demon popped up, I would just go make a post and try to poke everyone in the chest and get them to play me, right? On a stream or even in like a live match. I just put a challenge out to anybody to play, and yeah. So there are times where I hid from challenges, but mostly not. It's very funny. There's a guy that came into town, and he's a Hall of Famer, and he's retired now, and he's probably 720s to 730s, and he came to town, and he was looking for action, and they told me he was looking for action. It was like $100 sets or something he was willing to play people, and I was afraid, right? I was afraid because I'm like, man, if I lose, I don't like losing and everything like that. And this might even be before I kind of quit playing pool. So I was even I've been in this spot a lot. Okay, just trust me, I've been in this spot a lot where I know that I'm probably gonna lose or have a chance to lose, and I'm afraid, and I just have to do it anyways. So my first instinct was just hide, just tell them I'm busy with my family or whatever. And instead I said, no, I'm available. And I drove up there and I said, let's play, I'll play, And I thought I was nervous, like I'd been shocked at this point, because if me today ran into this dude, I'd be like licking my chops. But 6 years ago or whatever it was, 7 years ago, I was shitting my pants, right? So this is what time and training does for you. But I was afraid, but I faced my fear. I drove up there, grabbed some money, went up there, and just said, okay, kick my ass. Someone's got to kick my ass. I can't just sit there and hide and act like I'm this great. I'm a pool player. I just don't want to act like I'm a pool player. I actually have to be a pool player. It means I have to get in the ring, right? And I gotta take losses if losses are there, and I gotta make mistakes and be embarrassed if that happens, right? So I went there and everything. So then the funniest story of this thing is, this turns into a humble brag, but I'm sorry, it's just funny. The guy goes out, he says, okay, I'll go get my cues. Comes back in 10 minutes and says, I'm not playing you. And I said, what? And he goes, no, we're just not gonna play. I'm like, okay, I guess we're not playing. I guess he called somebody, and they probably said that I'm a pretty good player, and maybe he didn't want to work that hard or whatever, but it was just funny. So it's just funny, because sometimes you just face your fear, right, against like this dragon, and then the dragon goes outside, makes a phone call, and says, yeah, I don't want to fight. I'm like, shit, okay, well, that was weird, but that happens. And yeah, so sometimes like you just face your fears, and it just it just works out, you know. So I was bullied a lot when I was a kid. Okay, so this is a side story, but not that this guy was a bully, because he wasn't a bully. I mean, he is, but he's not. he kind of is a bully, this guy. So I'm surprised he didn't play. But what I'm saying is, like, I was bullied when I was a kid, right? I can remember a couple different times that I was bullied. And one time I was in 3rd grade, and this kid used to make fun of me for my religion, you know, and the way I looked and things. And I was new to the school, and he just every day bullied me, and I was so young. It was like 3rd or 4th grade, and I just went bam, and I blasted him onto the ground, and he just scurried away, started crying, told the teacher. It's 3rd grade, right? And I'm like, okay, well, there goes that. And then again in 6th grade, I was bullied, and this kid was a weightlifter, and I was not. I was a complete like P-word at this age. Probably, what was that, 11 or 12, 6th grade, 10. I don't know what grade it is. How old you are at that grade, maybe 11. And he was like tall and like starting to lift weights and stuff. And I was poor, he was rich. You know, he just bullied the shit out of me. And I went to my dad and I said, Dad, this kid bullied me all year as the last day of school. He goes, go punch him. I'll take care of it. He goes, don't give this kid a pass. The only way you're gonna stop this is if you just get in a fight with him. And I'm like, Dad, he's gonna kick my ass. He's a lot bigger than me. And my dad said, you gotta do what you gotta do, kind of thing. I don't remember the exact conversation, but my dad said, I'll go down to the school and bail you out if you need to, but like, don't let this kid do this to you, you know? So I went to school, nervous, really afraid, right? Really afraid, like super afraid. And this kid was just a towering figure bully, way stronger than me and all this stuff. And it was the last day of school, and he started bullying me. And I went to my signature move. I blasted him in the chest. He went flying back on the ground. And all I remember thinking was, I am so dead right now. I am dead. I'd never been in a fight. I wasn't a strong kid, I wasn't anything. And I just remember, I can vividly remember the look on his face. He just looked his eyes got like as big as saucers, and he just scampered off. And the next day after school, he called me at home, and he said, do you want to come over and hang around? And we became friends after that. And it was cool. We never talked about it, never said anything. He just called me. From a kid that bullied me every day for almost a whole year, I pushed him on the ground, and he did not fight back. And I faced my fear, and we became friends. You know, it was cool. So a lot of times when you guys see me in the comments and things, well, not so much anymore, because I don't get bullies in the comments anymore, really. And I'll just delete block them now if I get somebody that I feel like is just kind of running their bullshit. But the reason why I delete blocks, I don't even deal with bullies. I don't even deal with people that are doing that. Like, I'm here running a cult, bro. I'm doing good work. So I don't need somebody running me down or whatever. So anyways, I just, if you talk to Jolie, if you ever see him, ask Jolie how Joshy likes bullies, and he'll tell you, Joshy don't suffer fools in that way. So, but anyways, that's facing your fears, right? So I don't know. So I would say that at times I've been afraid, of course, like everybody, but I do face my fears, and I would just suggest, if you find yourself feeling afraid and hiding from something, to just be aware and just ask yourself, what am I doing here? You know, and maybe if I just face my fear, it'll be okay, right? And that's the big thing with Jolie that we're working on right now. You know, Jolie's gonna face his fears over this next 90 days. We're 2 days in, and he's gonna have to face his fears a lot. And it's gonna be sick, man. It's gonna be sick, and it is sick, and it's gonna be awesome, and it's gonna be transformational. All the demons that we're talking about, Jolie deals with, just like everybody else. And this whole 90-day thing is to fight these demons, and to you know, it's not about adding 100 fireboards. Who effing cares about that? I've said it before. It's about that process of Jolie facing these demons, right? The demon of ego, the demon of fear, the demon of doubt. Doubt's a huge demon. It's such a huge demon. Doubt can keep you on the couch, bro. It can just keep you from even doing anything. So, you know, I was sitting there thinking about doubt, and one of the things that I do as I would say a high performer, okay, yay me, whatever, is I have a plaque that I cut out and put on the wall, 3,000 games that I did, and I wrote it in pen. I did it all by myself, no social media, no nothing, and this was before all that. And you know, I wasn't in a good spot mentally when I did that. I wasn't in a good spot, like physically, spiritually, anything, emotionally. But I didn't let all of that keep me from trying, right? And so there's like a lot of people out there that say inspirational things or whatever, and it's like doing nothing is far worse than doing something, right? And I think Jordan Peterson kind of talks about that, and it's absolutely true. And I like, even before I heard about Jordan Peterson and studied him and did all that stuff and went through this Goggins stuff that I went through, like I said, about 6 years ago, I knew that doing something was better than doing nothing. And 3,000 games of Ghost Pool was doing something. Now I can look back now in retrospect and say, that was not a waste of time, but that was like not the best way to spend my time. Okay, but I didn't let not knowing what to do keep me from doing something, right? And I know that hitting a straight in shot for 6 years is not something like that. I've seen people do that over the years, and I see people stroke down the rail for 6 months, a year, 3 years, 4 years, and it's like doing something like that is slightly better than doing nothing. But playing 3,000 games of Ghost 9-ball or whatever I did, I took balls off the table, so it wasn't always 9-ball, it was less balls, right? Talk about ego. I took my ego and checked it and went back to 2-3 balls. I did it on other videos, but that's an example of being able to check your ego, is pulling balls off the table, so whatever. But doing 3,000 games of Ghost Pool, that's better than stroking it on the rail for a year. It's better than stroking back and forth at the cue ball for 6 months. It's better, or a year. It's better than hitting a straight in shot, and as long as that cue ball doesn't twist, then I'm gonna play professional. That has been a comment that I've heard from somebody. If they could hit a ball straight in, they would be a professional player. That's you know, I made a video off of like some of the best and worst advice I've had and some of the dumbest things I've ever heard, and that's in the top of the charts right there. That you're gonna be able to hit a straight in shot with a straight stroke, and that's crazy that a person said that, but he did. So what I'm saying is that type of repetition, and just almost like if you ever go to the zoo, I don't know, this is gonna be a really weird reference, but like I go to the zoo, there's a small local zoo, Como Zoo in St. Paul, and they have polar bears. And you watch the polar bear, and you can watch it for a half hour, walk and do the same exact loop, and it'll move its head the same way and do the same thing, and it's like this trapped animal in a zoo. That is not what I'm talking about when I'm talking about doing something. I'm talking about intentionally doing something to grow your game, right? And it's hard to know what to do at times, and I get it, but now that we have this channel and you guys can trust me, and I got this $20 a month subscription that you can join and have all these runouts and all these videos to teach you how to do something. Doing something is way better than doing nothing, okay? So, but what can happen is, back to the subject of doubt, people can use their doubt to keep them to do nothing. And that was what Jolie was doing. Jolie was on the couch for years and years and years because, okay, all due respect, Joel, I'm not trying to out you, I'm just saying, like, Jolie's a beautiful story, right? And Jolie's story is gonna be told through this new channel and through these videos and things like that. And I'll tell you, it's gonna be an inspirational story, and it's a wonderful story. But Jolie had some time where he had a difficult time doing anything. And now he's doing something. And he's doing something with me and with the directed, professional instruction. So that's gonna be a benefit to him. But even without that, it would be good for him to do something, right? And not everything he's doing is what he wants to be doing. Like sometimes work or different projects or things, but he realizes doing something is better than doing nothing. And so I'm the same way. Doing something is better than doing nothing. And the reason why I don't do it with doubt. And so that is a benefit, is that I drop my doubt, because if I had doubt, I would have quit after a dozen games or 100 games or something. To get to 3,000 games, you gotta kind of believe that what you're doing has some value. And that's it. So if we can fight through our doubt and we can do something over doing nothing, we're in a huge advantage. And then if we can do the right thing, well, then we're at a really, really, really big advantage, right? But what I'm saying is, even the reason why I was able to move forward with my game and to continue to grow is because I have a lot of belief, right? Same thing with this channel and everything. It's like, I just have a lot of belief, and then I know that doing something is better than nothing, and that doubt is a killer, like I said on the other video, and so that's it. And it's the same thing with like, you know, opportunities to play and things like that. I've seen a lot. I know professional players. I talked about that again, but I know somebody, a professional level player, and he is a control type person, and he'll only play when he thinks he's got the nuts, right? The Brazilians, the Stones, and everything has to be aligned perfectly. And I'm just like, man, I get it, but it's just, to me, that's something about that doesn't sit with me, right? And it just seems like there's a lot of doubt there. And maybe his doubt is around not being able to take losses, you know? And I can understand that it's tough to take losses, so. But yeah, so I guess all I'm saying is, you know, it's a demon, doubt, just like the other demons, and it's something that we can work on, right? And I have another video about doubt that I just did. Let's see what other, you know, all my videos talk about ego, so we're able to like work on that through that. And then I have other videos that talk about, what was I talking about? Ego, doubt, and I was talking about fear. I think I have a video on shit in your pants. I just have some different videos, so maybe I'll link them in the description of this, and if you want to go back and check them out, that's cool. I'm gonna try to build a playlist for this channel too, because I literally got like almost 200 videos I'm coming up on soon, so it's just, for me, it's like, I remember every video I did, so then when someone asks me, have you ever done a video? And it's, how can you not know that? It's so stupid. It's like, how could you know that? I have so many videos, and nobody cares about this stuff the way I do, so of course I'm gonna know what they are. So I need to group them in a playlist, that's all I'm saying. All right, well, I enjoyed this conversation. Hopefully you did. Hopefully you got something from it, and yeah, that's it. I guess we'll just see you on the next one. Hope you guys like the new digs, and we'll catch you later. Bye.